So since we're tackling real estate today, we're definitely going to be leaning on to the non-life aspect. Now, I'm really curious. I mean, we often assume that insurance is insurance, and we often see that the difference normally comes when we get into the nitty-gritties and all that. But then I'm curious to find out how Hollard approaches property insurance.
Property insurance largely falls under the non-life. But in the course of the discussion, you will see that life also comes in, and comes in very handy.
Okay.
Depending on where in the value chain you stand. You see, insurance is a need. I've often said that where you see any government compel people to take insurance, it is not because they want to compel people to take insurance, but maybe the thing has become so useful that you don't have to leave it to the decision of an individual. When you live in a country, we all contribute to the economic development of the country. So typically they will say our gross domestic product or whatever is this huge. You may sit behind and not take note of your own personal contributions to that. Now, anything you do for a living contributes to this economic well-being of the state. That is where the government prides itself. So if something should happen to anyone which affects that economic well-being, the state should be worried. That is why sometimes they make some insurances compulsory. So motor insurance, for instance, is compulsory. Insurance of commercial buildings is, for instance, compulsory. But when you take property insurance generally, then you are looking at insurances on physical property, buildings, structures, whether they are used as factory, whether they are used as hospitals, whether they are used as private dwelling house. So Hollard's approach to property insurance is to offer, we call it a solution that will meet the need of whoever the property owner is or whoever the stakeholder is. So depending on what structure it is, what you use it for, then we have a bespoke policy that will respond to your peculiar needs. And we see the change that is happening thanks to platforms like your own, where you would realize that in recent years, the property space is changing. I mean, 10 years ago, if you spoke of Airbnb, maybe somebody will look at you with a certain face. So you now have a mix of property being used for private dwelling purposes and also commercial purposes. At a point, the division used to be very sharp. It was either commercial or private. Now you have a blend of the two.
Mixed use developments and all that as well.
Definitely. So as an innovative insurance company, what we do is to follow the trend. Because at the end of the day, we are offering solutions. So if the problem changes, definitely you have to alter your solution to meet the problem of the day.
A few of your earlier statements actually responded to a question I had in mind, but then I will still pose it anyway. Do you think that based on your assessment of the need, the unseen need for the average Ghanaian, do you think that at some point insurance, I mean, in its general form, be it life insurance, be it non-life insurance, should insurance be mandatory? Should the government enforce it to a certain extent? Because many people end up either they go on pension or maybe something happens and they hit rock bottom so hard that I mean, sometimes family will have to come together, friends will have to pull some resources together to get that person back on their feet. And because they're not insured, I mean, it's like they are left to fall back to the bottom of the ladder and then climb their way back up. So should government probably indirectly ease the burden on the average Ghanaian by enforcing some form of insurance?
So there are two schools of thought. I mean, there are those who strongly believe that if insurance is that necessary, then it should be made compulsory like we have for motor insurance. I may hold a slightly different view. I sell insurance. And when I sell insurance to people, I don't even talk about the compulsion side of it. Because I believe if I have a solution that works, I should be able to convince you. And that's what we do in Hollard. And indeed, if you look across the globe, the countries where insurance uptake is very high are not necessarily the countries where insurance is compulsory. It is rather the countries where insurance education is top-notch.
I see.
You see, and there is a strong correlation between insurance education, financial literacy, and literacy in general.
Okay.
So, I mean, the average Ghanaian is well lettered. Most people can speak or write very good English or some local language.
Yes.
I'm sure our literacy rate should hit somewhere in excess of 80%. But when you come to financial literacy, you are talking about something probably around 30 or 30 something percent. Now, when you drill down further, even in the financial literacy to insurance literacy, then you know that we have a lot of trouble.
A lot.
Most people, what they know about financial literacy is largely about the banks because they are saving their money, mobile money,
Yes,
and those kind of stuff. So,
yes.
insurance education is that low.
Okay.
At HOLLARD, we believe that the best way to ensure that people are taking insurance is to let them see the value in it. And I must say we are on course. So there are two measures that we use to measure, if you like, the relevance of insurance in the economy and how people perceive it.
Okay.
One of them, which is largely touted, is what we call the insurance penetration. Insurance penetration is basically how much insurance premiums contribute to the national GDP. And it is very small. Indeed, in Ghana, it is less than 1%.
Interesting.
So if you look at it from that angle, you would conclude that the contribution of insurance to our national development is that minimal. But many people are taking up insurance these days,
Okay.
especially in the last 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
And some of us believe that it is because insurance literacy has gone up. So there is what we call the coverage. That is the other measure. The GDP contribution may be low, but the coverage is how many people have one form of insurance or the other. And that tells you how people appreciate insurance. And it comes from education.
Okay.
The making it compulsory will come to, as it were, increase the uptake or maybe entrench it. But you know, when people comply with something because they align with it, it becomes easy.
Yeah.
Otherwise, when you fall, the motor insurance is compulsory. But there are still many vehicles on our road who don't have insurance. You will find a way around it.
Very true.
But if I'm able to tell you why you can't leave the only car that the family is using uninsured, if I'm able to tell you why the building you've taken your entire working life to construct should not be left uninsured because fire can raise it down in a minute, I'm sure you are likely to buy into that than some building inspector coming to tell you that insure your building. If you have the opportunity, you will escape. So yes, I think it should be a blend of both.
Okay.
There should be some compulsion,
Okay.
but the literacy should go up and voluntarily people will take up insurance.
Okay.